Live now on other platforms. Yeah, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. All right. So, yeah, glad to be back here. Some of you were with me yesterday and it was amazing. So, first things first, before I get to it, for real, do me well by sharing these videos to other people. Let them know we're live. Share and let them join. And we will just have a good time here today. I will do some quick teaching. Then after the quick teaching part, we will, all right, take a few questions, and that will be it for today. So please join us. Make it easy for us to reach other people. Share, and let them know we are live and are doing this. So I welcome you all on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. Okay, quick announcements. Two key programs just ahead. I'm in London at the moment, and tomorrow we have the International Family Life Practitioners Conference in London. Just check our pages. We have announcements to that. On Sunday morning, we teach in Jos at the God Life Assembly. Senior Pastor Chintok Ishaku. All right, so yeah, that's two quick announcements. I'm just going to share now what I want to share yesterday. Thank you all. I see your greetings. Again, please share, invite your friends. This is a very important conversation for the singles. Yesterday, I began to share about do not be sentimental or emotional. And I explained yesterday. If you've not seen that, that video is on all our platforms, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. We saved it, we shared it. You might want to go see that. I don't want to spend the time going over that. You don't want to be sentimental, and I took the time to explain why being sentimental is dangerous to your own destiny. All right, so today I'm just going to share some things on how to be intentional with choosing. How to be intentional with choosing. I think it's right for us to pray. We should. Father, thank you in the name of Jesus. Thank you for the privilege to share this time. I ask that you anoint me to teach truth in simple and clear language that everyone can understand. I ask that you anoint my listeners to understand better than I teach and to appreciate deeper than the revelations I bring. That at the end of the day, our lives to bring forth fruit to the praise of your glory. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, so for starters, let me just take a few statements from yesterday and buttress the point that we're making that destiny is not going to answer to your sentiments. All right, and that's why you hear statements like, if wishes were horses and everyone will ride on horseback or something like that. All right. Life is not just going to deliver to you what you wish. Life is not going to deliver to you just what you want. Life is not going to deliver to you what you desire just like that. And unfortunately, when it comes to relationship and marriage, for example, a lot of people are going to wind up in what they did not desire, what they did not anticipate, and what they do not wish for. All right. So it's not everybody in a bad marriage that wanted a bad marriage. In fact, nobody wants a bad marriage. All right. So it's important to know that our destiny, and particularly our marital destiny, is a reality that is put within our control. Now, some people argue with that because you meet a lot of people who are hurting and who are not, who do not necessarily take as much responsibility for ending up in the union they end up in, and who sometimes maybe out of pain and share, pressure of what they are going through, share stories with you in ways that if you become sentimental with them, you cannot see how they landed there. Speaking to single people today and in today's world, I just see how a lot more marriages are going to end up being troubled marriages even before people get into them. All right, because you speak with singles and you can see that they are on the path of error, and that's why we passionately share the things we share. And I'm going to share the point I'm sharing this afternoon. Okay, so write this down in the comment if you are following. I would like to see your comment. Let me be sure that you are following and you're understanding. And what do I want you to write? I have more power to choose my destiny than I have been told. Can you write that down? I want to impress that on your heart. I have more power to choose my destiny than I have been told. You have a lot of power. You have a lot of power. Tomorrow and our future is not just an accident that will just happen. All right. I'll give you the kind of example that will make you relate to this. Yes, it's going to take God to wake up tomorrow. That's not within my control. But the moment I wake up, I have the power to choose, all right, my own destiny than I've been told. That's the honest truth. I have the power. All right. I don't have the power to wake myself up. God does that. All right. I don't have the power to keep myself alive. God does that. But you see, as long as I wake up to it tomorrow, that tomorrow is going to be, a reflection of my choices. All right. I have the power to choose it. So we live in a world where people have been taught to put the blame on fate, Fate. No, I'll give you an example you can relate to. Thank you for those people typing. I'm glad you're following. That's proof you're following. All right. I'll give you a standard example. I'm wearing what I chose to wear. All right. For the conference tomorrow, before I left Nigeria, I selected my clothing with the hope that I'll get to London. All right. So the moment I got to London, all right, which God played his part, every other thing is under my control. Now, because I knew that upon arrival on Saturday morning, we're headed straight to Jos. Do you know I already packed my bag for the Jos trip? So Julia has more time. So you know, she was going to pack her bag after I travel, but I had to pack my bags before I left for London because when I get back, I wouldn't have the time to pack my bags, before we head to Jaws. All right, I selected my tomorrow. I determined what to wear, and I'll give you another example. I've had some wardrobe malfunction recently. Like, well, it happens all the time. We all have wardrobe malfunction. So I also check the integrity of the clothing I'm picking. All right, what am I doing? I'm trying to make sure I'm not on stage and having an embarrassing moment. So I have the power to select that tomorrow more than anybody has, or anybody may want to admit. I do have the power. All right. So, well, I'll soon explain the principles I brought to share with you today on choosing your marital destiny right. Okay. So it's so important to know that. And I said something yesterday. I'm going to repeat it with every sense of responsibility. Everybody is going to wind up in a marriage their choosing deserves. All right. Everybody is going to wind up in a marriage that their choosing or their choice deserves. All right. So when you meet people who try to, put the blame on any other thing in life, they were simply not taught to take responsibility for outcomes. All right. They were simply not taught to take responsibility for outcomes. Okay. Now, for instance, my parents were separated. I was 8. They were divorced. I was 10. So I know all about having a bad history. I know it from experience. All right. That's why I taught a message once from a broken home, but not in a broken marriage, because my history is not my destiny. All right. My history is what happened without my control. My destiny is what happens with my control. All right, let's keep the engagement going. Can you type that in the comments? My history is what happens without my control. My destiny is what happens based on my control. Can you type that very quickly in the comment? It helps me keep the interaction with you. So I'm going to repeat that. My history is what happens without my control. My destiny is what happens based on my control. Now, once you begin to get that, you now learn to apply the points I'm about to share with you. I'll say that one more time for the benefit of those who are trying to get it to type it. My history is what happens without my control. My destiny is what happens with my control. But let me even clarify. Some of our history happened with our control, but we're now learning better. Okay, but I'm referring to history before we began to make choices, like the family I was born into, the state of my parents' marriage. All of those are history that does not lie in my power. All right, but my destiny is what I can control, and I'm going to explain that in the context of relationship and marriage, which is what this video or live broadcast is about. I'm going to explain that now and give you some tips. All right, I'm going to give you some tips that you need. All right, the very first thing you must note, all right, in knowing how to choose your destiny, right, the very first thing, if you like, I would like for you to, as I give the points, if you are able to, if you are using a device where you can type, just go ahead and type the points as I explain, just to perhaps, just to document that and to express it in a way that you remember. All right, number one, how to intentionally choose. All right, number one is agree that the future will be a product of your choice. Agree that the future, see, there's something that happens to us when we embrace the power we have been given. And I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain. There's something that happens to us when we embrace the power we have been given. So I said, number one, agree that the future will be a product of your choice. Agree to it. Just agree. I'll give you an example of, agreeing that something will be the outcome of your choice. When you are to attend a conference like I'm here to attend, you take more responsibility because you know that the outcome of the session depends on you. So somebody else against the conference tomorrow just has their clothes prepared, perhaps their clothes ironed. No, I'm not stopping at that level. I have my notes prepared because the outcome of the session has something to do with what I do. Somebody else may not attend. I remember a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I was having hangout in South Africa, and I remember the night before the meeting, a lady reached out. She really wanted to sign up. It was not a big meeting, so I could track everybody that was reaching out to sign up. It was like a seminar, like teaching. And this lady reaches out. She really wanted to sign up. She wanted it urgently. I mean, she signed up. And the next day, just imagine what happened. She didn't show up. I mean, she signed up just before midnight, and the meeting was 9 a.m. or so. I mean, just one short sleep away. She didn't show up. She won't show up, but I must show up because that hangout will not happen without me, but the hangout will happen without her. So the level to which she took responsibility was not as deep as mine because I agreed that hangout, all right, had everything to do with my presence. Do you get what I mean? So once you come to the conclusion that the future would be a product of your choice, agreeing to that helps you take responsibility at a different level. Because we live in a world where people are blaming their marital woes on every other thing but the decision they took. All right. So it's so important to realize, number one, I say agree that the future would be a product of your choice. All right. So the marriage you will have will be a product of your choice. Because the moment you put that much weight on your choice, you become careful in how you choose. All right. I'm not talking about paralysis of analysis where you are disarmed, you become afraid to choose. No, I'm saying take responsibility. All of us are going to choose anyway. Do you understand what I mean? We are all going to make choices. But how much weight do we attach to making the choice? All right. So one of the ways you attach great weight to making the choice is to agree that the future will be a product of your choice. Number two, number two, decide that you will get it right no matter what it takes. And I'm going to break that down. Number two, decide that you will get it right no matter what it takes. Can I have those who are typing it? Thank you very much for typing point one. This is point two. Decide that you will get it right no matter what it takes. And I'm going to explain that. I'll say that one more time for the benefit of those who are typing it down or writing it down. All right. Decide that you will get it right no matter what it takes. Thank you for typing. Thank you for typing. All right. Now, what do I mean? Now, when you say, I have decided to get it right no matter what it takes, one of the first things it will take is what I explained yesterday. It will take refusing to be sentimental or emotional. So it may cost you even some tears. I mean, you're going to meet some people. Look, they'll be good for so many things other than marriage. You'll be crying while refusing them. You're going to meet some people that will be handsome, they'll be beautiful. I mean, some decisions you take in life will cause you pain. I mean, real pain. That's something it takes to get it right. All right? Decide that you will get it right no matter what it takes. For some of us, it will take a relationship that we have been in and realize that relationship in itself is a mistake. It will take leaving it. That's a decision that I will get it right. Some of us is going to take a second look at a relationship that used to make sense that should never make sense. Like, you're not worth my life. You're not worth my time. You don't have the character set. You don't have the consistency. Now, that's a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to get right, even if it costs me a relationship, even if it costs me time, even if it costs me being it right. Do you get what I mean? So it's so important to come to that point where you make a decision that I will get it right no matter what it takes. Now, that's a decision. That's not something emotional. That's being decisive. All right. So decide that you will get it right no matter what it takes. In essence, you're coming to the point where you realize that your decision is going to be expensive. Your decision is going to be expensive. Your decision is going to make sure you say no more times than you would have felt like saying no. All right. So it's a decision that I'll get it right no matter what it takes. All right. That decision may keep you in the place where you slow down. That decision may keep you in a place where you say more no's than you would have been willing to say. That decision will keep you in the place where you don't experiment in certain relationship or make certain choices. That decision will make sure you don't go to certain places. That decision will make sure you don't roll with certain kind of people. That decision, decide that you will. All right, you will get it right no matter what it takes. That's the number two. All right. So number one, I said you embrace the fact that all right, the outcome is it would be a result of your choice. Number two, decide. Now, this decision is deep because the reason why this decision is deep is that that's the place where your heart is conditioned and postured to make the sacrifices required. I give you an example. When we're in school and we chose to read, we chose to go out in the night to read. What were we choosing? We were paying the price. All right. In essence, number 2 point, I am saying I'm ready to pay the price. I'll give you an example. Let me speak to the ladies. Let me speak to the guys. It's just like as a young lady, some men come your way. They tick certain boxes that are nice. For instance, a man comes having money, having a car, or having cars, having his own business. But what follows is when you begin to check character wise, you realize that you cannot give up the future for temporary gain. All right. You realize that there's a dream, all right, of the kind of home you want to have. So at that moment, it's taking you instant gratification, immediate, gratification to say, you know what, this is not the destiny, this is not the future. All right. So I'll give an example of a guy, for instance. We easily emphasize this thing for ladies, but a guy can love a lady so much and not want to give her up, especially when he begins to encounter certain character flaws and he's just dazzled and razzled by this girl. All right. So decide, all right, that you would get it right no matter what it takes. Number 3 point. Confront your fears. Number 3 point, confront your fears. Number 3 point, confront your fears. Number 3 point, confront your fears. And I'm going to explain how you confront your fears. Who is typing for us? Confront your fears. Confront your fears. And I'm going to drum that in. Especially you ladies, confront your fears. Especially you ladies, confront your fears. Especially you ladies, confront your fears. And I'm going to reel out some of those fears that you need to confront. Number one, the fear of remaining single. How do you confront your fears? You confront your fears by standing on God's word. because your fears are often assumptions that has no basis. Your fears are often assumptions that have no basis. All right, assumptions that have no basis. Let me say this to you. Fear always projects a possibility in the future. Why do I say it's baseless? You have never been to your future. So why is Satan so big about trying, all right, to project an outcome? Mm-mm. So I stand on God's word. I give you an example of fears you need to confront if you want to choose right. Number one, would you even ever get married? Yeah, I shall. All right. Is there anybody who is even getting it right? I mean, just manage what you get. That is total nonsense. All right. Now, confront your fears. Talk to your fears. Let your fears know that you are in this life to have a good life and not to settle for something. Tell your fears, you know what? God has plans for me. For his thoughts for me are thoughts of good, not of evil, to give me an expected end. The only thing sure about the future is the promise of God. But fears are assumptions. What if you never get married? What if you marry a bad guy? Now, why do I say confront your fears? Anytime you succumb to your fears, you lose the capacity to believe that the future is in your choice. Then the future begins to look like something of chance. It may happen, it may not happen. It may be good, it may not be good. Do you get what I mean? So until you learn to tell your fears that God's promises to you are real and they'll come to pass, what happens is you begin to lose your power of choice and you begin to fall for the possibility of life just being whatever it is. Please, I need you to get this point. I'm not just cracking jokes. I need you to really get this point, because these are the points that will help you be in the place where you are able to exercise your choice to choose your destiny and to choose it right. All right? These are the points that will help you exercise the choice to choose your destiny and choose it right. Okay, so confront your fears. Let your fears know that your future is under your control or the power of your choice and is not an event of chance. Are you following what I'm saying? Now, when I say confront your fears, you are telling your fears that your future is not left to chance, it is left to choice. Do you get what I mean? So, in confronting your fears, you are telling your fears that your future is not left to chance, but is left to choice. I'm going to repeat that because you need to get that. How do you confront your fears? You tell your fears that your future is not left to chance, but is left to choice. So, in essence, all right, we lost Facebook, so let me restart that. All right, in confronting your fears, you are saying that my future is not left to chance, but it is left to my choice. Please stay with me. Let me make sure I get Facebook guys back online. I don't know. Okay, I see what happened now. I was trying to correct that before I started. So stay with me. Is there anybody there who can give me the 3 points that I have mentioned so far? Can you type it? Instagram, YouTube. Can you type the 3 points we have mentioned so far? Just type it. Let's be sure you are getting it. Can you type it quickly as I get Facebook back on? All right. I was on the last point where I was saying that you confront your fears by telling your fears to the face that my future is not left to chance, but left to my future is not left to chance, but left to choice. So, can you give me the 3 points in comments as I continue? I'll soon get into point 4, how to intentionally choose live broadcast 2, since I lost the first one. All right. Who is giving me the points? I'm not seeing you typing, or I'm not seeing you type that. I'd like to see you type. My future is not left to chance, but left to my choice. All right, my future is not left to chance, but left to my choice. All right, so I say number 3, you confront your fears. Number 3, you confront your fears. All right, number 3, you confront your fears. And I said, welcome back, guys, on Facebook. Sorry, I ran out of my connection and had to reconnect on that platform. Right? So my future is not left to chance, but is left to my choice. So now you will never confront your fears as long as you think that life is left to chance. And let me tell you this, in confronting your fears, sometimes you need to silence all the useless stories that you hear. You know, when people, especially when marriages fail, people just try to make it look like marriage is one of those things that just happen without anybody's control, you know. And now let me tell you this, and you need to be careful. See, stop justifying that people's relationship or marriages failed without their control. I beg you. Because one of the things we are now experts at that takes away our own faith for our future is that we are busy justifying why people failed because we are afraid to put it to them that they made poor choices. I'm telling you. So you meet a child of God. I know people burning for Jesus out of pressure, not confronting their fears, go and settle for a very funny person. That is their problem. I'm telling you. See, you cannot be sympathetic to the point that you lie. Please, I will not be sympathetic to you to the point that I lie. If you are tired of waiting for a right person, for instance, and you settle, your marriage is not a mistake that is general, it's a mistake that was chosen. I'm telling you. If, for instance, if you make haste, all right, and get into a relationship and do not, like I explained yesterday, watch yesterday's video, do not discern, do not observe. If you make haste, see, you cannot, all right, get it wrong if you actually observed and discerned. Because what eyes cannot see, spirit will pick. So confront your fears. Because a lot of poor choices are made every day because people make the choices under fear. For instance, people reach out to me, hey, especially ladies, hey, I'm 36, I'm 25, I'm 30. I know you ladies, you are so afraid to get to 30 without a relationship. Like there's a monster waiting at 30. Do you get what I mean? So anytime fears dominate your heart when you choose, you are already in error. Age, peer pressure, parental pressure, anytime any other consideration dominates, all right, your thinking when you choose, all right, you're in trouble. So I said number 3 point, you confront your fears. Number 4, feed your strategy. Feed your strategy. Can you type that before I explain? Feed your strategy. Number 4, feed your strategy. Please, please, please type. Let's get it right. Feed your strategy. Feed your strategy. Number 4 point, feed your strategy. Number 4 point, feed. I've not seen any comment yet. Waiting. Feed your strategy. Because we must feed our strategy. That's number 4 point. What's your strategy? Feed it. Feed your strategy. Feed your strategy. And I'm going to explain. Some of you right now, you are here feeding your strategy. Because one of your strategy is to attain calm. All right? So what you are even doing now, staying on this live broadcast when you could leave it to make a call or do something else, is that you are feeding your strategy. So sometimes you feed your strategy by reading a book. By the way, our books just got on seller.co today. Just search my name, Ocholi Okutepa. All 9 books are on seller.co. We started having some issues on other books. I mean, some people found it so difficult to navigate. I realized that seller is so easy. From anywhere in the world, seller is SELAR, seller.co. Feed your strategy. All right? So your strategy is to be calm. Your strategy is to be informed. Your strategy is to take steps of wisdom, like the Bible says in Proverbs 4:7. It says wisdom is the principal thing. You are feeding your strategy. Your strategy is to be equipped. Your strategy is to be better. What are you doing? You're feeding your strategy by picking a book, by listening to a message, all right, by belonging to certain kind of groups, by cutting away from certain kind of people. That's you are feeding your strategy. Because one of the ways you feed your strategy is to starve your distractions. You know, you meet some people, all they give you in your marital journey is pressure. They're talking about who is single, who is going single, who is not getting married, how men are scarce, how this world is this. Those people will destroy all the strategy you have. Feed your strategy, feed it fat. Do you get what I mean? Prayer is a strategy. Feed it. For instance, when I recommend a prayer booklet, the marital release, it's feeding your strategy. I tell people see a lot of testimonies that come out of it, but I tell people it's not a magic wand. So when I recommend it to you, I'm recommending it to as something that feeds your strategy. What you want to get it right, so you are feeding your strategy. So I put a booklet in your hand, the marital release, for instance, available Okada Books, Amazon, Seller.co. I mean, what are you doing? So you pick up that booklet, for instance, and you want to pray across 15 days. What are you doing? I'm putting you in a place where you are locked in faith. You are feeding your strategy. You are doing what you should do. You are doing the right thing. All right? Because until you feed your strategy, you are going to give up. I'm telling you. See, the world is from the fall of man, the world entered a mode where it fights your capacity to do right. That's why the only thing that grows naturally on earth is destruction. Leave a room without touching it and come back in 1 week. It will not be in a state of repair. It will be in a state of disrepair. Leave a field, fruits aren't going to come out of it. Weeds will overgrow it. So earth cannot deliver result to you until you are intentional about it. So, somebody wants to get it right and they're keeping the wrong company. They are not feeding their strategy. Somebody wants to get it right. They're not reading no book. They're not feeding their strategy. Somebody wants to get it right. They're not listening to any correct teaching. They're not feeding their strategy. Somebody wants to get it right. They're not getting to the right community. They're not feeding their strategy. Like some people amaze me. They come to me for counseling and we do meetings every month in Abuja. The next is every second Friday. We do sit out meetings where we teach, we have community, we even have the singles connect group. No, they're in Abuja, they cannot attend. Is to come to me to WhatsApp and expect that I have miracle waiting for them with one simple answer. I'm teaching every month. We are praying. We're trusting the Lord together. We have strong community. It's a strategy. It's a space. Some of you are broken away from your church. Go back to church. Stay in the place where your sanity in God is maintained. Because the earth itself is already pressured. Pressure everywhere. Pressure every corner you turn. In your office, pressure. In your family, pressure. In your workplace, pressure. In the bus, pressure. On the streets, pressure. Your friends, pressure. Your environment, pressure. Your neighborhood, pressure. There's already enough pressure. You come online, pressure. But what do? You feed your strategy. You feed your strategy. So when I stand up and go to church, I'm feeding my strategy. When I stand up and go to the community of believers, I'm feeding my strategy. Are you getting what I'm saying? All right. Number 5, examine every decision you make like it can mar you. Examine every decision you make like it can mar you. Number 5, write it down. Examine every decision you make like it can mar you. This is the one I'll stop on and I'm going to explain it as my last point. Examine every decision you make like it can mar you. You know why? Because it can. So when you make the choice of marriage, now I'm going to get very graphic with explaining this. Very, very graphic. I'm going to get very graphic so that you can understand what I'm saying. Examine every decision you make like it can mar you because it can. That's number 5. Let me repeat it like 2 times so that those who have not caught it to type it. All right, I just added that last part. I was avoiding it, but let me add it for full context. Then I'll explain. Examine every decision you make like it can mar you because it can. Examine every decision you make like it can mar you because it can. And I'm going to explain this. And let me get graphic with it. All right, when I walked down the aisle with Julia, I was just about 27. All right. And the rest of my life, let's assume at 27, I wanted to live to just be 50. God forbid. That's short. I have a lot to do, I believe, if Jesus tarries. So 50 is short. But let's assume that somebody is getting married like I did at 27 and wants to live just to be 50, just to be 50. All right. That would be the person living the married life for 23 years. Now, if you ask me, that's a lot of time because some of you listen to me. If I deduct 23 years from your life, you just reduce and become like a toddler or a baby or a child. 23 years is a lot of time. 23 years is a lot of time. And I mean, when you meet a person, I know a lot of 50-year-old people. I mean, I know a lot. Professional colleagues, friends in ministry, friends that we've grown up with. I know a lot of people who are 50. I'm not a 50, but I know a lot of people who are 50. I mean, I've just been in marriage for 13 years by December, and I can tell you it's been a very long time. Yeah, to people who are older, that doesn't look like time, but imagine doing life with one person for the last 13 years. It's been daunting, it's been demanding, it's been every single thing you can think about when you think about doing something that is worth it, that takes your time, attention, affection, and all of that. So when you make this decision, the reason you examine it deeply is that the longer part of your life, more likely the longer part of your life, all right, depends on that decision you have made. So if you were 27, like I said, and just wanted to live to 50, which nobody wants to do. So let's take up the number to 60. That would be 33 years of your life. And I am assuming that most people watching me, if you deduct 33 from their age, some of them will not even be in existence. And some of them will just become toddlers. 33 solid years. I mean, that's how long, let's say, okay, let me just do numbers that will make it easy for me. Why do you examine the decision you make like it can mar you? Because the decision for marriage is taken by most people when the rest of their life is way longer than the life they had lived before they made the choice. So I'm choosing for the most critical part. Do you get what I mean? Where my destiny should be happening, where my legacy should be built, where my peace in life and how I die is at stake. See, if you notice from point 1 to point 5 I've mentioned, it just brings the responsibility back to you that you cannot be reckless about choosing. You can't be. All right. So you come to that point where you examine every decision, all right, like it can mar you. See, I keep saying this and I'm not joking about it. If you sit on the seat I sit, you either run to God or you run mad. You will run to something, either to madness or to God. Because you hear all the bad stories. And I don't process bad stories from, oh my God, it happened to you. No. While I may not condemn people who come to me, the truth is that, see, people choose, whether out of ignorance or stupidity or stubbornness, people choose the problems they get into in the name of marriage. I'm telling you, especially in this generation of information and low revelation. Let me now bring some challenges to you because some people don't even know what to examine it with. People come to me for counseling every time. Oh, this one amazes me. People come to me for counseling. I give them a little piece of counsel or advice, then send them to go and read books that would help them open their mind, and they go away. They don't even go for it. And because our counseling line, we leave your messages. Some people come back months later asking the same question in another way. And for those that we still have the messages, I just ask them, did you ever do this assignment? 99.9999% would say, actually, I was busy. Or actually, I didn't do it. Then for some, I just keep the pity aside. You go and do it before you come and talk to me. Because I'm not a fool. I'm not just sitting here, at your beck and call when you are not responsible for your own destiny. You are not serious enough with your own life, but you want me to be serious enough with it. So I have written materials. Some is not even my material. I sent you to materials that will save your life. You couldn't do it. You took all of that time and came back to me, the jobless one, who will sit here for free to dish it out to you. Come on, you are not serious. Do you get what I mean? So, not a lot of people are serious with their marital destiny, but they want to come seriously for counseling to come and whine and complain to a counselor when they have failed to keep their primary responsibility when it comes to making choices. So how can you even examine your own choice when your brain and your mind is empty of the tools to use? So intentionality in choosing is actually intentionality in equipping ourselves on how to choose. So the intentionality begins from my equipping, because people just want to wake up and choose right when they have never been equipped. Oh, so I mentioned things like, will you marry me? Recommended for every single. They say he's trying to sell a book. For how much? 1K online. 1,000. Oh God. Help I'm in love. For how much? Hobby and wifey checklist. Questions you must answer before you say I do. And somebody's looking at me like, what are you talking about? Is it by reading? No, it's not by reading. Carry your empty head and make empty decisions and have problems. And not just my book. I tell people I'll recommend things I wish I knew before I was married, before I recommend my books. Yeah, by uh, Gary Chapman. I will recommend books like Spirit Controlled Family by Tim and Beverly Lahaye. I'll recommend those. What about five love languages? I mean, there are materials. Have you taken time to listen to some great teachers? You have Kingsley Okonkwo, you have Beauty Akpai. I mean, I can call names of people, Toju, Oluwatoyinbo, Nike Folagbade. I can just go on and call names of people who are teaching, making effort, pouring out wisdom. Mbano. Come on. Can we tell ourselves the truth? So examine every decision. And that's why, when some people want to destroy you, they'll tell you to stop listening to people who teach because it looks like teachers are making it complex. Teachers are not making it complex. They're making it easy. And teaching godly standards, upholding godly standards, somebody feels that that's making it hard. No, we're trying to make sure people's lives are not hard, simple and short, so that your life is not hard. But let me stick to the point. Examine every decision. In essence, when you choose a person, you will go back to all you have learned and apply it in the process. For instance, we will teach that, like the Bible teaches in Isaiah, he that believes does not make haste. We will teach that you relate. We will teach that you don't jump into sex. Because the moment you begin to have sex, your examination is over. You are not examining nothing. You are just knocking. I'm telling you. And sex is a blinder. Sex takes sense away, simple and short. It robs you of the capacity to think further. All right, because pleasure seizes your control. Right? So, in examining the decision like your life depends on it, you would actually take on certain disciplines that are necessary, all right, to stay focused. You take on certain disciplines that are necessary to stay focused. All right? And that's why I see relationship is a very demanding process. I'm telling you, it's not a process to just be excited. Valentine is coming, for instance, in February. It's not a process to be excited that you're now among the number. Those that will receive gifts and receive flowers, those that have people that will call them. Some people are being called and their call is useless. I mean, somebody is just exciting you but destroying your destiny and not taking you anywhere. So examine the decision like your life depends or your destiny depends on it, because it does. Okay, I'll take one or two questions before I am done. So on Facebook, you can put the question in the comment. On Instagram, you can use the question icon. On YouTube, you can use the comment section. Let me take a couple of questions quickly and say goodbye for today. While I wait for the questions to drop, don't forget, if you are anywhere around London, I know you guys know how to plan ahead. But just in case you are able to, tomorrow, we do have the International Family Life Practitioners Conference right in London. Details on our page, or you particularly check Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo or Love Dating and Marriage. On Sunday, if you're anywhere in Jos, we would be in Jos, the God Life Assembly, teaching in the Sunday service, the Family Life service. And just in case you're in Abuja, we meet every month, second Friday of the month. Details are always on our page, reminders for the sit out. And next month sit out, what's the date of second Friday now in November? I think it's 8 or so. Julia and I will be teaching and answering questions. And if you do not follow or subscribe to our YouTube channel, lots of teachings dropping every day. I mean, lots of teachings. You want to check that out, relationship and marriage. And just in case you wonder where can you get our books or materials, Amazon, Okada Books, and on seller.co. All of those three platforms have our books, and there would be a blessing to your life if you jump in on them. All right, I've made 5 points tonight on how to choose or to be intentional in choosing. And I really hope that these points have been a blessing to your life. All right. I wanted to take questions if any have come in, but I think you have perfectly understood the point. So I'm just going to let you rest, and I'm going to also move on to rest. It's been 45 minutes of teaching here and just sharing. And I believe that you've been blessed by this time. Again, one of the things you do, I'm posting the video on all the platforms where we're live: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Please go ahead and share to your friends and let them see. Help us expand the community. Why do we want the community expanded? The more people we reach with the truth, the better for us. And we'll be glad to reach more people. More people need to know the truth and be set free. Right. So God bless you. First off is YouTube. God bless you. Bye bye.